I've been a cloud administrator and it's actually pretty cool. You don't have to go down to a server room usually. Now, I've done both. I've worked with companies that have had a cloud run by a vendor. So I could sit in the comfort of my home drinking coffee in my pajamas and I'm working on an entire infrastructure of computers that simply exists somewhere else. But I've also been the guy who's gone down to the server room and I've built the virtual infrastructure. And I can tell you both have their own complications. The technology is still fairly new, but it's evolving at a rapid pace. The virtualization I learned years ago is not the virtualization that's existing now and even being created as we speak. Everything can be virtualized. When you walk into a Fortune 500 company and you see people sitting at their desks typing, looking at monitors, understand that most of those workstations, they don't exist. They're figments of your imagination. That's right. The actual workstation itself is virtual, and you'll have what's called a zero client, which is just basically a monitor and a keyboard in a small box that connects up to this virtual infrastructure. Servers and entire server farms and entire company infrastructures are being virtualized because it saves money. Think about it. One server, one physical box, can cost, anywhere from $3,000 to $300,000, and it runs exactly one server. Or you can virtualize and you can have one physical box that runs dozens of servers. Because usually a server, even though it's running, may not be used 24/7. So the CPU and RAM are sitting there unused. So you can reuse that for other servers. And then you get into things like memory ballooning and balancing and CPU spiking and usages and things like that. All the terms that really go into the vendor specific issues when you go into cloud computing. Now, specifically for cloud computing, this technology is insanely cool. It is also costing people jobs because vendors like Microsoft and Azure are coming in and saying, we can replace your entire infrastructure with this web portal. You simply log in, and if you need a server, you just click a button. It's automatically created for you. So it's very cool, but you also lose a lot of the control because it's now hosted somewhere else by a vendor. You don't really know what that vendor's doing. So in high security environments, you'll often see that they don't trust these vendors, they don't use these vendors, they build their own clouds. So if you're going to explore a career in cloud computing, just know that you're really jumping into the deep end because anything can be virtualized. But typically, you as a cloud administrator would just run the cloud environment, not the actual devices. Meaning you may not have to mess with server 2 is down or workstation 6 is acting up again. You just know that, hey, your virtual infrastructure is running. Now, unfortunately, as with everything IT, you have hybrid roles. So you'll have a server administrator who's also the virtual administrator who manages the network and the phones. Typically, the larger companies are going to have more siloed departments, meaning a smaller company will have somebody who does everything. A larger company may have somebody who only runs the cloud system. If the server's down, that's the problem of the server team.